Welcome to Daily Devo. I'm Pat. Today we're going to talk about number 10. We're going to take the next 2 weeks and work through the 10 commandments. But we're going to go backwards. Rather than move from 1 through 10, we're going to work from commandment 10 down to 1. Why? Why would we do that? Well, hang in with us till we get to number 1 and we'll explain. Now, I've been around the church world long enough to know that whenever you start talking about anything associated with the 613 rules that were part of the Old Testament law, or even the 10 commandments, there are people who will say, "Why are we wasting our time with this? We aren't under the law anymore. Jesus set that aside, or he fulfilled that." Without going into a lengthy dialogue and answering these objections, suffice it to say that one of the high values of studying the 10 Commandments, much less all the instructions of the Old Testament law, is that it all speaks to who God is. You see, each of these 10 Commandments are not just do's and don'ts for us, but also revelations into the character of God. They say something about God's honor, his worth, his majesty, his holiness. They tell us what matters to God. So, working backwards, commandment number 10. It's actually found in Exodus chapter 20, verse 17. You must not covet your neighbor's house. You must not covet your neighbor's wife, male or female servant, ox or donkey, or anything else that belongs to your neighbor. Do not covet your neighbor's things. Now, this term covet is not a word that we use very much anymore. It has the idea of lust or desire or setting your heart on. So we might say that God's 10 commandments is saying this: stop lusting, desiring, and setting your heart on what your neighbor has. God knows the heart of humanity, and he knows that everything we think and do is a stepping stone to something else. In other words, good habits and thoughts lead to gooder habits and thoughts. Bad habits and thoughts lead to badder habits and thoughts. Now, I get that that's terrible grammar, but it makes the point. Longing for what our neighbor has is longing for what we don't have. And it's the first step into ungratefulness and discontentment. And ungratefulness and discontentment will eventually lead to complaining and whining and lying and manipulation and stealing and adultery and murder. See, here's the steps. I don't have it. I want it. I deserve it. I'm going to find a way to get it. It's not a healthy way to go through life. What's the opposite of coveting? Contentment. Numerous times, Paul will speak to this idea of contentment in his letters to the churches. He says, I've learned the secret of contentment. I've learned to be happy with a lot and with a little. In fact, in one letter, he reminds us, naked we came into this world, and naked we're going to leave this world. Now, I know some of you are thinking, well, that would be an awkward and uncomfortable open casket funeral. His point is this: that we didn't bring anything into the world, and we aren't going to take anything with us. So choose contentment and avoid this hopeless, exhausting life of, I don't have it, I want it, I deserve it. I'm going to find a way to get it. But what does this command teach us about God? It's actually another powerful reminder that he is a good Father and only wants our best. He does not tell us do not covet to make our lives miserable. He tells us do not covet because coveting will make our lives miserable. Today, may we remember that we serve a God that loves us and wants the best for us. Today, may we remember to choose contentment and get off that endless, exhausting treadmill of wanting more.